The thing that separates us from a lot of other
Alright, all operators on countdown 1. Flight directors go for launch. Ignition. Stage separation. Booster landing burn 7.
Hello and welcome to Starbase, Texas. It's 5:19 p.m. Texas time, and we are just over 31 and a half minutes away from Starship Flight 13, the second test flight of our next generation Starship, version 3. During our initial launch attempt last week, we had a clean countdown, loaded all propellant, and got all the way to engine ignition, where the vehicle executed a safe shutdown when its automated systems detected off-nominal startup on 4 engines. That safe shutdown ensured that both the vehicle and launch pad were kept safe. As we often say, the payload on these test flights is data, and even when we don't get off the ground, we learn some valuable lessons and improve from them. We're going to dig into the details of that in just a moment, but all of that to say is that we're here today and we're ready for our second launch attempt. I'm Kate Tice, Senior Manager of Quality Systems Engineering.
And I'm Nathan Commissariat, a civil engineer here at SpaceX. Today, we're coming to you live once again from just outside the Star Factory production floor, about 1.5 miles from the rocket on the pad.
Back in May, the first test flight of Starship version 3 delivered tons of data, and we'll be putting those learnings into practice today on Flight 2. All of this brings us one step closer to a fully and rapidly reusable vehicle, the key to enabling frequent flights to the Moon and Mars. Designed to
weather. I want to be clear, the cause of not flying was visibility. It had nothing to do with launch weather constraints. On the planet,
this thing, and you see how glowing.
Come join Mars.
Satellites. And they're also optimized to reduce drag in the lower orbital altitudes in which these new satellites will operate. But before we operationalize these satellites, we want to put them in a flight-like environment. These satellites were loaded into Starship last week ahead of that first attempt. And once deployed, the Starlink team will only have about 20 minutes of flight to speed run some of these tests before the sat's demise in the atmosphere.
Epic scenes. And lastly, we'll ascent burn.
Flight 13 ahead. Let's jump down to Kate and Nate for what's ahead.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, the future is built on progressive steps like today's test. So let's dive into the flight profile that we're going to see today.
That's right. We've got an exciting day in store. So starting with liftoff, Super Heavy will ignite those 33 Raptor 3 engines right off of Pad 2 here in Starbase. We will then power through ascent ahead of hot stage separation, where the booster will shut down all but 5 engines at the bottom. Stage 2 will then light its own Raptor engines, pushing off from Super Heavy and starting our stage separation maneuver known as hot staging. We will then have the directional booster flip using 33 engines, and after coasting for a few minutes, the booster today will target a landing burn and ocean splashdown a few miles off the coast of Starbase.
Ship is going to keep the party going with its ascent burn to a suborbital trajectory, followed by deployment of those 20 Starlink V3 satellites. We also plan to relight a single Raptor engine. Re-entry is just a few minutes later, which should provide some amazing views thanks to Starlink. And typically we see some pretty fantastic views of the ship's blistering re-entry through the Earth's atmosphere. A plasma blanket will form around the vehicle and never prevails to provide epic scenes. And lastly, we'll conclude today's test with a landing flip, a landing burn, and a splashdown in the Indian Ocean. And with that, let's kick it over to Dan for a countdown update.
Thanks, Kate. Good news, we just heard from the flight director as we eventually continue to evolve Starship to fly it at an airplane-like cadence. You can see
crew the mission, and it's slated
in the Indian Ocean for flight today. We'll continue monitoring that all the way down into the final minutes. We are going to be closing out our propellant loading on the booster and the ship with T-minus 60 seconds.
Already turned on the water. Now, for those that have just recently tuned in, once
holds on the board, again, that we've got that gate at T-minus 1 minute. We're only going to hold if there's a reason, and currently there are no reasons.
Coming up here in a few seconds, we should have, oh, actually right there we can see on screen, that's the base of the Super Heavy booster. Those are the 33 Raptor engines, and we expect to see and there they go, the TVC checkouts, also known as engine wiggles. We're activating those thrust vector control actuators to ensure that those center engines and the inner radius as well have the ability to steer the rocket.
Yep, super cool to see how fast those move. I mean, in flight, it's amazing to see how it steers the vehicle. And we're coming up on that T-minus 1 minute now on our countdown, so let's listen in to see if we pass that gate.
All right, we are through the gate. Still no holds on the board. 50 seconds to go. Starship getting ready to fly.
Flight trajectories go for launch. -9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Vehicle is pitching downrange. Booster Raptor chamber pressure is nominal.
Seconds into flight, 33 out of 33 Raptor engines lit on the Super Heavy booster, arcing away from us here at Starbase. Coming up on max Q, maximum aerodynamic pressure, which again for this flight is going to be higher than it has been on any of our previous Starship flights. So we're passing through that maximum aerodynamic pressure over a minute now into flight. Still seeing 33 out of 33 Raptor engines lit and burning. Our next major moment's going to be coming up in just a little over a minute from now when we're going to get to hot staging. We're going to shut down all but 5 of those engines on the booster. It's our version of MECO. Most engines cut off. And then we're going to ignite the 6 engines on the ship while it is still attached, to do that separation. As a reminder, we try to do a directional flip, so when you watch on your screen, we're hopefully going to be sending that booster towards the bottom of the frame. For the booster itself, it's like doing a flip up. It'll go towards the bottom of your frame. We do that by lighting the engines in a slightly staggered sequence. Standing by for hot staging. All but 5 engines down.
Cutoff. Except
6 ignite.
Blackburn startup.
And the booster now doing its boost back burn. It looks like we lit all 33 initially. Now we're down to 13. We're seeing 6 out of 6 Raptors lit on the ship.
Back burn shut down.
and boost back burn shut down. So it looks like we were able to get through the boost back burn this time around. That was one of the key objectives we didn't have on the last flight.
Nominal.
And we've got 6 engines lit on the ship. All right, so that's the first of 2 burns that the booster is going to be doing to kind of send it back towards us. It's going to be landing a couple of miles offshore from Starbase, hopefully. We're going to try and get it all the way down to do a landing burn, where we're going to use those 13 center engines. They're going to ignite. That's what's going to really bleed off all that velocity that it's built up. And it'll eventually, hopefully, transition to 5 engines to kind of fine-tune its path in, and then all the way down to 3 for the remaining bit. All right, we've got a couple of minutes to go until we get there. So booster's gonna coast for a little bit. Ship still seeing 6 out of 6 Raptor engines lit. 4 minutes into the flight, ship's got about 4 minutes left. Getting some killer views. Kate, Nate, how was the view from from down there?
It was incredible. I mean, it just shot off the pad, and seeing all the crowd now running back inside to take views on the screen here, it was amazing.
Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna learn to not stare at the engines, because now I have a bright blob in my vision.
Right.
Now, speaking of vision, we could see both stages there on your screen. Starship's second stage is still firing its engines. You can follow along with that with the GUI down on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Still following the planned flight path as well. Beautiful views of planet Earth there behind the ship.
That's right, and we're actually getting a live shot off the booster right now, an onboard camera. You can see the plume from Starbase where it just lifted off 5 minutes
Starship
ago.
on nominal trajectory.
We are there.
Incredible. We are there. That is us.
I kind of want to run back outside and wave.
Right. Now, again, this booster is not planning to come back to the tower or to launch site for this particular launch. We are going to be planning to do an ocean splashdown just off the coast of Starbase, so hoping to still get some amazing views of that.
Pretty awesome to see the Raptor engines there on the left-hand side of your screen. We can actually see the plume there of those center Raptors. Those are the sea level ones, as well as the vacuum Raptors are the 3 on the larger ones on the outer radius.
Now, just like on tower catches, we are going to be doing a 13 engine landing burn to slow the booster down. Hopefully we can get a live camera of the booster right now as we're going into that phase. Awesome shot, you can see it there. So right now the booster is using their 3 hypersonic grid fins to guide itself through the atmosphere toward its landing site. You can see we're only 5 kilometers above the sea right here.
Startup.
Just heard the call out for landing burn startup for the booster. I have a feeling the crowd's about to go wild here.
And another awesome landing for Super Heavy. Congratulations to all the teams here at Starbase and at our SpaceX team. An amazing, amazing view.
Everything continues to go well with ship, as you can see there on your screen.
Yeah, we've got about a minute left with the ship engines on. Just looking at the booster real quick, it didn't look like we lit all 13 engines that we were planning for that initial landing burn. We were targeting a softer splashdown, and as you saw, it came in with quite a bit of velocity still. So landing velocity did look a little bit high, but really cool to make it all the way back this time to that landing burn. We'll dig in, figure out how to turn on all those engines, and then get to a full landing soon. But all eyes on ship. We are just a little ways away from getting those engines turned off. We expect it to burn about 8 minutes and change in, so hopefully just about 15 minutes to go. Sounds like we just got the sonic boom
Yeah,
here
we sure
at
did.
Starbase
That was awesome.
from the booster splashdown. And engine shutdown. All right, Starship 6 Raptor engines have successfully shut down.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And there's our call out for nominal orbit insertion. So we got a ship in space. We've got a booster in the Gulf where we were planning to send it. It's a hell of a start to the day, Kate.
Yeah, it sure is. All of our colleagues here are filing in through the doors. A lot of people wanted to stay outside and hear the boom. And so it's pretty great to see a ship in space, and everybody's super excited down here.
That's right. And as guaranteed, it has been an awesome day so far. All this action in just 9 minutes now. And objectives are done for the booster. Just want to quickly flag that that booster did land in a clear zone. We clear those before launch, well ahead, so that we ensure everyone is safe before the launch and after. So we're getting ready now for our in-space objectives.
Yeah, we've got a few minutes until the next milestone, so sit tight and enjoy the space views and, of course, the space jams. We'll be back here at T+14 minutes to deploy our payload, which is version 3 satellite.
These will only be
Getting deployed.
a little scrappy with it. They might be playing some bumper cars once they're out of the door, but we are looking to get these deployed over the next couple of minutes. In the meantime, they're getting ready to also do the Raptor in space relight. Listening to a little bit of conversation on that, but we are currently tracking to do it. I'll give you some updates if we hear otherwise.
And there you go. You can see our first Starlink V3 getting deployed out of Starship. Huge milestone for the team out here.
Yeah, the crowd is definitely hyped about this. We could see these Starlink V3s continuing to pop out with deployment assisted by the Pez dispenser. Now, this version of Starship is built to deploy up to 60 of these more advanced Starlink version 3 satellites. Each V3 is designed to offer 1 terabit per second of downlink capacity. Now, let's put that into Falcon 9 terms real quick. A Starship launch with V3 satellites will launch 20 times the capacity into the constellation as a single launch of V2 satellites on Falcon 9. Just incredible.
And anybody that follows Starship, you know that the views that we're being treated to right now, the views we get during those re-entries, that's made possible by Starlink. It's given us just this unprecedented, it's the Indian Ocean. As we get out,
Attempt to do due to that ship's heat shield. That will be a very from the sun to help
100 kilometers above the
operations that will
be put to test.
yep, looks like we've just got those last 2 to go. These ones might be coming out. Oops, they're starting to see motion. $19 out the door, 1 more.
It looks like we got a crowd at our Hawthorne, California location. Some colleagues gathering outside of mission control there as well.
That marks, if I'm not mistaken, our 20th. So our payload deploy sequence is now complete. Starship will now close its payload bay door. So After
Relight demo startup.
you see
And
relight
shutdown.
there on your screen.
Wow.
And confirmation over the net. Relight shutdown. The burn has ended. Congrats to the team on this milestone. I mean, it's crazy to see how we can maneuver in space, and just another icing on the cake for today's mission. So we're going to be taking another quick break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes before re-entry, which is targeted for about T plus 47 minutes. So we'll see you soon.
Starship is starting entry. Good attitude for entry.
Welcome back once again to Starship Flight 13, spacecraft flying through the
Starship is executing the swoosh maneuver. Dynamic pressure is coming down.
Welcome back one last time to Starship Flight 13, the second flight of Starship version 3. As you can see on your screen with crisp views from Starlink, the ship is currently re-entering the Earth's atmosphere over the Indian Ocean. And really for the last several minutes, we had some amazing Technicolor views. It really looked like it was made out of starlight. Now, we did hear on the nets just moments ago that we made it through max heating and max dynamic pressure, meaning that the vehicle temperature and speeds and pressure are all coming down, and we can see that in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen as that speed continues to decelerate. We're coming up to the ship landing burn. One of pretty much everybody's favorite part of Starship test flight days, and that's going to be coming up here in just about a minute or so.
Yeah, just about a minute away. We're going to try and light all three. Need to dig through all the visuals. We didn't do any real stress tests or anything on this flight. We did do, you heard our landing Larsh flight controller call out. We were doing the swoosh maneuver. This is kind of the final maneuver that we plan to have starships returning to Starbase do, that will essentially hook them out over the Gulf before coming in and over Tower 2. But about 10 seconds away, look for 3 Raptors, the 3 in the middle, to light up, do a flip. Let's see if we can get this thing in the water. 3 sea levels lit. Seeing healthy chamber pressures on. Did our flip down to 2. Starship descending into the Indian Ocean. Down to 1. And we're in the water. And it's a soft splashdown in the water. That is a first. That is the softest splashdown we have ever had with the Starship there in the Indian Ocean.
It's bound to be an exciting day for our recovery team. I mean, that huge milestone to even get to soft splashdown, much less have the vehicle stay afloat.
Yeah,
the
teams are super hyped here. Got some crowd here at Starbase Texas. Everyone's super excited. We never really get to see Starship floating so serenely in the Indian Ocean, so we're certainly enjoying these extended views. Like I said, we're really pumped about this. I want to check in with Tyler. Tyler, how is Hawthorne feeling about Lucky Flight 13?
Hey, Kate, we are so excited about another successful Starship test flight and those gorgeous Starlink views that we had. And we can also confirm that we managed to make contact with all 20 of those V3 sats. So it's a massive day for us. So congratulations to everyone at the team at Starbase, for Starlink, everyone here and around the company who've contributed to the Starship program as we make progress again towards a multi-planetary future. So thank you everyone for tuning in. That's a goodbye from Hawthorne, and back to you guys at Starbase.
Thanks so much, Tyler. Now, for anyone who perhaps missed the action, I suggest that you rewind the clock. Wow, look at that view of the Starship heat shield tiles. You can really see how the atmospheric re-entry, how it disperses the heat around the edge of the vehicle. I don't think we've seen quite that close before.
Never. And honestly, however short-lived that ship standing, bobbing in the water is, that is insane data for our team. It's unbelievable that we were able to keep that ship afloat. Now, we promised maximum excitement, and Starship V3 delivered. Congratulations to all of our teammates at SpaceX and to everyone who supported the Starship program. And thank you to all of our future customers for your support.
Yeah, as you could tell, the crowd really enjoyed that Nemo cam for a moment. We'd also like to thank the fine people of Cameron County, as well as the Coast Guard, the Federal Aviation Administration, and the Government of Mexico.
The amazing views do not end, so be sure to follow SpaceX on X for updates and more of these exciting shots that we didn't get to feature on today's broadcast.
And to get an inside real-time look at the teams bringing this incredible rocket to life, check out the latest episode of our documentary series, Starship. And of course, thanks to all of you for tuning in. And we're going to head back up to Dan for some additional thoughts.
Yeah, I'm losing my mind right now. We are still getting views from on board the ship with it in the water. Like, we had tried in the past to do these splashdowns as softly as possible. We experimented with rolls. This is the first time we've put an intact Starship in the water. This is a dream scenario for the team that's trying to get this heat shield data. Normally you're working with a slightly charred Starship in the water, and now we have one intact. So the recovery team is moving in with their drones, and we are still getting views from Starship. It is sending these via Starlink from the other side of the world while it is floating in the water after flying through space. Like, this is just completely surreal right now. This is just a mountain of data that we're going to get back. This is going to be so critical for refining the heat shield, everything else. And the really good news is all of these views that we're seeing, you're looking at a pretty intact looking heat shield, which, as a reminder, we were flying at a significantly higher dynamic pressure, so putting way more stress on this vehicle on the way uphill. And it's sitting there in the water, and I mean, look at it. So I'm a little bit over the moon on this. I know a lot of our team is just fascinated in the control room behind me. I mean, everybody is psyched. Everyone's gathered around their computers looking at these close-ups that we're getting of these heat shield tiles. 18,000 of them. I mean, you can probably count the ones that are missing right now on one hand. Like, this is just absolutely incredible. And the fact that, like, the cameras on board the ship are still sending back video is just a little bit surreal. So, wow. Lucky number 13. Hell of a flight for Starship. Get it all the way there in the water. Really great day for version 3. So, whew. All right. As Kate and Nate said, we're going to keep releasing more of this. Stay tuned. We've got some really cool stuff from some of the onboards that we caught, so keep following us on X at SpaceX. Whole bunch more cool imagery from launch, from the flight that's going to be coming out soon. Yeah, let's just close on that. I mean, look at Starship in the Indian Ocean. That's fantastic. We'll see you all back here for the next flight test of Starship version 3. With that, we'll say goodbye.